Hello again, YouTube. Just taking a break from the bike. I'm going to do a quick walk around in a minute of the bike and just talk through some of the mods that I've done to it. It was pretty standard when I got it. I bought it second hand, but I'll go through that in a sec. Just stopped at a little place called Deetham, or to be more accurate, what was Deetham Green Airfield. We got a little memorial. It was 452nd Bomb Group who were based here. Quite a nice little memorial. They're here from February 1944 until April 1945. 250 missions. Brave boys. There's a little plan on the top of the old airfield, the classic sort of shape of an A, if you want to look at it like that. And a little outline of the bombers used to fly from here. You can actually get onto the old taxiways. These roads around here, they've been tarmacked over, some of them, but you can actually still feel the ripples underneath from this these sort of concrete pads in the taxiways. And I'll show you in a bit when I ride up there. But the bike, it's a 2013 Triumph Tiger Explorer 1215cc engine. Much like any other Tiger Explorer, really. Mine's in graphite grey. Bought it from a local dealer. Having had all sorts of other bikes over the years. Started as many of us did in the 80s in the UK on a 100cc two-stroke. Progressed to an RD350 power valve. It was my first bike after I'd passed my test. And then had all manner of mainly sports bikes, 750cc and above, GSXR 1100s, ZXR 750, GPZ 1000RX. Then onto the more modern ones, the GSXR 1000, ZX10R, Bandit 1200, until I bought I traded the ZX10R in for a speed triple, for a Triumph Scrambler, which is on one of my other videos. Massive difference in bikes, but what a laugh the Scrambler was, as I've said before. Had that a couple of years and modded it quite a bit, and then sold it and got a speed triple, which is a big mistake. It was a 955. Nothing wrong with the bike. It was a cracking bike, and again that's on another video, but it just didn't suit me. And I was actually going to go and get another, either Scrambler or one of the other custom style bikes that Triumph do, and took one of these out for a test ride, and I wouldn't say I fell in love with it, but it just hit a spot where I knew that this bike would do absolutely anything I could ask of it. I don't go off-road, a little bit to get on and off campsites and stuff like that, but that's it. It's not an off-road bike. It's not even got the spoked wheels, this one. But even those, they're not serious off-road bikes for the average rider like myself. But anyway, yeah, it does me well. It came pretty much standard with the standard Canon at the time. I have got the OEM panniers, the side panniers. They're not on at the minute, clearly. I don't like to ride with them on all the time because it just adds width to the bike, and it's not needed if they're empty. They're okay. Would I prefer some of the adventure style ones? Yeah, but again, they do the job for me. We've got a standard sort of handguards covered in flies at the minute. When I bought the bike, it had not got any of the engine bars on, so I had them fit the lower bars, which you can see on there at the minute, and then after that I've fitted the upper bars, which are, hopefully I'm pointing the camera in the right direction, are made by Heed, who are a Polish company. There's quite a few lots of companies out there do upper engine bars. SW Motec, GV, Touratech, I was going to go for the SDB Motec, but most of theirs I think come in a glossy sort of finish, and there's nothing wrong with them. They get good reviews, but these heat bars, apart from the price, which I'll say in a minute, they're sort of a matte powder coated finish, almost textured, and it just fits really well with the standard OEM bars. And these things cost 138 quid from their eBay site, including the shipping from Poland. The instructions, they're in sort of pidgin English from Polish, so you do have to sort of fiddle about with stuff a little bit. And I think these mounting bolts down here, and this one, they got them back to front, so but it's pretty easy to figure out if you read the instructions. On the back we've got a GV Trekker Outback 42 litre box, aluminium. There's reviews on YouTube. Initially I had the GV plastic mounting tray, which is this under here. You have to bolt this to the Triumph rack, but it sat at a good 2 or 3 inches higher than that. Dusty, which I didn't like. It sat it really high up, so I swapped it and got the aluminium one. And I mean, as I said, there's plenty of reviews on YouTube. I'll just whiz that off quickly. Dead easy to take on and off. Clip at the bottom, pull it up, and there you go, it's off. Nice alloy mounting plate is on there now, quite a bit lower than the plastic one. Looks a bit sturdier as well. Dead easy to get back on. We've got company. Click back on and lock it. I do quite like having that on there most of the time because it's quite handy just to stuff bits and bobs in. I've got a toolkit under the seat. The other thing that I fitted really is this Touratech sat-nav mount, which is lockable. Not locked at the minute, but essentially you clamp it down, these two sort of grabs, and there's a lock on the side. Is it going to stop a determined thief? Probably not, but opportunist ones, yeah. And that's fitted to an above clocks bracket, which is at the back of the screen. So that's the bike really. Still on the standard tyres. It's done less than 5,000 mile. I'll be changing them out soon because what I found is they've got this what seems to be a fairly common trait with the Metzler Touron's tyres of squaring off, and you can see there's shed loads of tread there, but they are just starting to square off, which is a shame. I'll see how they go and perhaps put some Continentals on or some Avons. There are a couple of other things I've done actually. One is this from Pyramid Plastics, which is a shock shield. Quite good at keeping the muck off the shock, as it says. It does mean you can't fit a hugger, a proper hugger that comes up here, which I don't really want this bike anyway. The other thing I might fit is the other thing from Pyramid Plastics, which is a spray guard, which fixes on somewhere around here, I think, and comes out over the back of the back wheel, a little bit like the ones you see on a GS. But at 150 quid, they're not cheap. And the other one is my Remus can. I keep the baffling on it. It sounds quite nice with the baffling anyway. Quite a bit lighter than the standard Explorer end can, and quite a bit neater as well. Those of you who know the Explorer have seen the standard can, and they're quite hefty things. So yeah, that's my bike. That's my ride at the minute. My one and only bike. We'll make a move from here and just get going. One thing I did do with the sat nav is I hardwired it into the bike. You can wire it straight to the battery, but I've used something called a fuse block, and the wiring goes through the bodywork, the front bodywork, into the fuse block, which attaches then to the battery, and then you have another wire into the bike's electrics, is into the tail light. So the sat nav will go on and off with the ignition, which I quite like. Right. Private property, keep out. So this, I think, would be one of the old taxiways from Deetham Green Airfield. Certainly when we get up here, you'll be able to see there's more of the hard standing there to your right, and you can see under there where the farmer's put all his muck. It goes sort of off to the left down there, and we'll be riding left down here, and you can you'll be able to see the track on the left as well if I stand up. So I can feel now the sort of concrete blocks underneath the tarmac, but you can see on the left where the taxiway was anyway. So you can imagine sort of $70 years ago, aren't we? Difficult to imagine what it must have felt like in those days. We're so far removed from it these days, I think, aren't we? So I'm going to start heading back now. I don't want this video to roll on for too long. I will just keep it running a little bit down some of these nice little lanes in Norfolk. And probably talk a little bit more about the bike as we go along. I'm not going to go through stats and figures. I mean, it's a 2013 Explorer. It's well documented by now, and obviously we've got the 2016 model out, which has now superseded this and got various improvements, including electronics, and the suspension is supposed to be quite a lot better with it adjusting all by itself, sensing when you've got a pillion and luggage and clever stuff like that, which is all well and good. Would it benefit somebody like me? Well, I don't know yet, because I've not bloody test ridden one. The big question is it worth the extra money? And clearly some people think it is. I go on a couple of forums, and certainly the reports coming back from the guys on there are quite positive. Some, like me, are saying I couldn't justify spending that extra at the minute, and I couldn't. I've only had this bike since November last year, and as I said earlier on the walk round, it does everything I want at the minute. Will I have another one in a couple of years? Will I upgrade to the 2016 model? I'm really not sure. There's a lot of good competition out there. Well, you've got the GS for a start if you want to stay adventure bikes, but you've also got several others which are bloody good now. The Yamaha Tenere, the very underrated Suzuki V-Strom, Aprilia, I think have got one out, the Capanord. I don't know much about that, if I'm honest. But the main one, I think, that's come out this year, big competition, is Ducati's Enduro version of their Multistrada, and that really does look the dog's danglies in every respect. More power than this. I think it's a little bit lighter. It's going to be, I would have thought, more expensive, but given the price hikes on the new Triumph, the 2016 Explorer, it won't be I don't think there'll be that much in it price wise. I think the biggie as ever with Ducati is this reputation for dodgy electronics, and I know it's an old reputation, but going on some of the reviews that I've seen for some of their other bikes, their modern bikes, you could say it still applies to a degree. And then there's the cost of their servicing, which I think is more than the Triumph costs. So yeah, those are the options if I do decide to change in a couple of years, adventure bike wise. Of course I might go back to something custom oriented. I really loved that Scrambler. A little bit more oomph, which I think the new 1200 engine would offer, and that'd be about the perfect bike, other than the fact that if you want to carry luggage, it clearly can't compete with one of these. So what else is there? Well, to be honest, I like all sorts. I think if we were all, most of us bikers, if we were wealthy, we'd have a garage full, and I'm no different. I'd certainly have, and don't don't knock me for this, but I'd certainly have a Harley. It's a scratch that I really want to itch at some point. The whole, not really the image, but just the look of the bikes, the sound of the bikes. I really like them. Is it a practical everyday bike? Probably not. But do you buy a Harley to commute on? Let's be realistic here. You know, it's just not gonna. That's not what you buy one for. You buy it for the odd weekend away, sunny Sundays out and things like that. So we're just having a little bimble here. These lanes are a bit tight, a bit gravelly. I could go quite a bit faster, but while I'm concentrating on you lot, rather than giving my full concentration to the road, I'll keep it steady. So yeah, Harley's definitely on the agenda at some point. Whether it's going to be the next bike, I'm not sure. Again, Triumph offer a good alternative to a Harley in the Thunderbird, especially the Storm. I do like the look of that. There's so much out there, really. So many toys and so little time. But this will do for me for now. More than do. It's a cracking bit of kit. Whether you like adventure bikes or not, it'll just do so much. Handling wise, it's pretty good for a tall, heavy bike. It's got tons and tons of power in the right place. Is it going to beat a Hayabusa? Of course not. But again, that's not what it's designed for. But as a bike that will do everything from commuting to having a bit of fun to full-on touring with full panniers and a pillion, should you want to go with your missus or whoever, this bike will do it, and I really can't knock that. And certainly these original Explorers Triumph got it pretty right first attempt, to be honest. I know there's the original Tiger, the 955, completely different beastie, chain driven, where obviously this one's shaft drive. So yeah, they got it right with this one, I think. And pricing wise, again, it wasn't that bad. It certainly undercut the likes of the BMW GS quite a bit, I think. Got my figures correct. It's just a good all-round bike. Sunday afternoon pint. Can't beat it. Well, you can get on a bike. So yeah, we'll leave it there. I think this video is going to be quite a bit longer than I expected, but we've had a walk around, a little bit of a ride, and so we'll get it uploaded in a bit and see what it looks like. At least you got a bit of an introduction to the channel, to me, to my bike, a little bit of my biking history. Stay tuned, I'm going to do some more shooting videos in a week or two. We've got another rifle coming, so we'll do some testing. And I think next on the biking front, apart from some more ride outs, will be probably a review of this lid that I'm wearing at the minute, which is the RI Tour X4. So, thanks for watching. Ride safe out there, and we'll catch you next time.